All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live coming at you straight from, from all over America. All over America. We have people in Puerto Rico, in Guam, and the American Samoas. That's where we all are today. So, government, send your FBI agents there to look for us. We'll be there to open you with welcoming arms. All right, welcome you with opening. I don't know. I think I fucked that up. Oh well.
Just
Good thing
continue.
nobody fucking listens. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got East Bay Ray down by the Dale of the Ferns. What's up, Ray?
You know what? Not lots.
Not lots.
Pretty quiet in my neighborhood here.
All right. And then from the very deep part of the Bible Belt, pounding on those Bibles as hard as he possibly can, we've got G-Dub.
Yeah.
What's
I
up,
am
G-Dub?
I am the buckle of the Bible Belt.
The buckle.
I'm holding it all together.
You're holding it all together. Dang speed of Jeebus. So.
Yeah.
Are you
I'm
tight?
I'm like Velcro.
Is the belt tight?
I'm like Velcro Jesus.
Velcro.
Ooh.
Speaking of Velcro, my belly has gotten a little big, and I've had to upgrade to a Velcro belt.
It's going to upgrade.
It's well, it doesn't have a buckle, which is nice about it. It's just Velcro, and it looks like a normal belt. It's just there's no buckle.
So you don't have that metal pressing into the bottom of your fat stomach that hangs over.
Right, and so I don't get that big red cancer spot right there anymore.
I should have bought myself one of those 10 years ago. That's a fucking great idea.
Dude, I got it from
Exactly.
not that I'm advertising for them, but Duluth Trading Company.
Uh,
You know that where they make everything out of canvas and shit like that. I got it from there. It's a pretty decent belt. I like it. So.
yeah.
All right. Anyways, speaking of I guess speaking of nothing, there's really no good transition for this. Let's talk about today's big announcement from the FCC. I know it's not on our wonder list, but it's just too big to not discuss. Did you guys hear about this?
I did not. You're gonna have to tell me.
All right. Well, the chair of the FCC has announced that he will make a recommendation to the board, and the board still has to approve it, but they almost always vote for whatever the chair tells them to vote for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And especially since the chair is a Democrat and the board is controlled 3-2 by Democrats, he is declaring that the internet is a public utility, which prevents internet service providers from charging higher rates for faster speeds.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's super awesome because now it'll mean whatever speed they offer, they can't what's it called when they stifle it?
Stifle?
No. No, when they throttle. When they throttle the your broadband, they can't do that anymore. So they'll have to. And right away, AT&T and Verizon have threatened to file a lawsuit if the board votes yes, because they don't believe that it is actually a utility. But I don't know. The Supreme Court ruled a few years ago that they couldn't, and this is all in the guise of net neutrality, that the internet has to be free and not free, but at least open to everybody. And I don't get any more electricity than consumers' energy gets. Or let me change that. My electricity doesn't come faster to me than it does to General Motors, right? And I just don't use as much. That's the only difference. General Motors uses more electricity. So just like that, and my water doesn't get to me any faster than it gets to, EMU. So in the same way, the internet can't get to another company faster than it gets to you. So I think that's a pretty cool idea.
Legit right now? Is this in law right now?
Well, it's the FCC has the authority to regulate communications, right? And the Supreme Court ruled a few years ago that they could not limit how, based on the current interpretation of the rules, they could not limit whether companies charge more for faster service. But they gave an out. They said, unless you consider the internet a utility, which you have not done so yet. And so the FCC decided to declare it a utility so that they can prevent companies from charging more.
Yeah, but it can also because it's the utility, it may fall within the same laws as broadcast, in the sense that copyright and all that jazz may be higher, like scrutinized more.
Well, and it should be. I mean, you can't steal other people's stuff. You know?
No, but
I mean, the copyright laws are still in place. It's just it's easier to violate them on the internet.
Yeah.
well, what I'm saying is this show,
ahead, Ray,
for instance.
sorry.
I was going to say, this show, for instance, is, we're not licensed. This is just on Google Plus, Google Hangouts. But could the FCC theoretically tax us, or
No, the
tell us
FCC doesn't.
we can't.
The FCC doesn't do any of that.
Yeah.
What they said is, as long as the internet is being used legally and through a license, and our license is the fact that we purchase from Comcast or whoever your internet service provider is, and they license the government to build wires and to build a network and stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and the internet was created by the government in the first place. You know, so the fact that it's technically government owned, and the government could take it back if it wanted to, and that's kind of what they're doing. They're saying we need to protect the internet for innovation, not for profit. So.
Well, also, I would say I would argue for information. Like sending secrets overseas to those who could use them against us.
Well.
Or streaming Fox News to get all your political information.
Yeah, I think
that's all censored, man.
Well, no, it's not censored. I mean,
Fox News.
Fox News censors
Fox News
themselves.
Is totally censored.
No, they censor themselves.
Every news system is censored, man.
They censor themselves from the truth.
Oh yeah.
Or from liberal bias.
Right, but it's not
or
that.
Don't report on it at all.
It's not that the government steps in. That's what censoring is when the government says you have to stop saying things.
I was just making a joke about people getting information from Fox News.
Yeah.
Because Fox News is a source of disinformation.
Right. Well, that's why it's spelled F-A-U-X, right?
Right.
News. Yeah.
All I know is that this cat likes granola bars.
This will, I think this will, if this sticks, and it's got 2 years to get through the courts before Obama's out of office, because when Obama leaves office, then the FCC, the people on the board will change, and it'll more likely be a conservative who gets put on the board, and it'll be conservative members of the board, so.
So you're already assuming that the next president is going to be Republican?
Yeah, that's usually how it goes. It's very rare that you get, the same party twice for, when it's not an incumbent. So.
But Scott Walker, woo!
Please.
I don't think Scott Walker can. Oh wait, no, it's Cruz. Cruz can't because he's part Mexican,
indicted,
right, or Canadian. What was it?
Because he's indicted.
He's indicted, yeah.
He's got a few of those, yeah.
I'm hoping for the Rick Scott Walker ticket. The Scott and Scott.
I tell you, the Wisconsin folks would be very upset if Scott Walker became president.
No, they wouldn't, because then they wouldn't have to deal with him as governor anymore.
True, but a lot of things would probably like the whole airing of grievances in Wisconsin. How he omitted that from union. I may be ruining this, but
no, yeah, you're saying that wrong. It's not airing grievances. It's when there's a what he's done is he's stripped unions of their it's called their binding arbitration, and pretty much what that means is unions really have no authority anymore, because what binding arbitration is when say, Ray, you're the company, right, and I am the union rep, and we disagree about a rule, and we go through the grievance process, which is typically a few steps with the employer. It starts with the personal supervisor and then moves up to maybe a regional supervisor and then human resources or something like that. And if those three steps can't agree on a resolution to the problem, then it goes to arbitration. And what an arbitrator is a third party who will sit in, and they have to be certified. They're typically from the AAA, from the American Association of Arbitrators, and then they hear both sides of the case, and they look at the contract, and they have to follow the contract as close as they think it says, and whatever an arbitrator says goes. In states that have binding arbitration, an arbitrator's ruling is as good as a judge's ruling. So you can't take it to court. Like, say you don't like what the arbitrator says, you can't take it to court. Meaning that once you get to court, the judge is just going to throw it out because he's going to say, "Oh, you had binding arbitration." Gary, whatever you're doing, the picture's showing up way better now.
Yeah, it looks great.
I know. Go ahead with your boring spiel about arbitration now.
So anyway, what Scott Walker did is he banned binding arbitration, which pretty much means that even if an arbitrator rules in favor of the union, the employer doesn't have to follow the agreement, follow the arbitration. And so then it would cost, then the union would have to take it to court in order to force the employer to do what, to follow the contract. And a lot of unions don't have enough money to go to court over things. So where an arbitrator only costs a couple $1,000s, maybe upwards to about $10,000, going to court would cost, between $20,000 and $50,000. So a bigger problem and issue there. Wyoming's trying to do that right now to ban binding arbitration for firefighters.
Isn't enough people in Wyoming to have unions?
I guess our firefighters are unionized, and probably their police officers. A lot of states, even in right-to-work states, their firefighters and police officers are still allowed to unionize and are still allowed to have binding arbitration, but nobody else typically is. And
well, we need to do something about these elitist unions trying to
protect their rights.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
And I don't mean to get on a spiel about this, but unions, yes, we are there to protect your rights, but we're also trying to democratize the workplace. For so long, bosses have been seen as the ultimate authority. Yet, I have worked at so many places where the bosses are friggin' idiots, and they don't do things that make sense. They do things that actually jeopardize or hurt the company. And unions, if you can democratize the workplace, we can make better decisions as a unit than one sole person. That's what I think. But anyways.
So the other ticket I talked about was Rick Scott, governor of Florida, who you know how he made all his money, right?
No, I don't.
Running those pain pill clinics in Florida. The ones where you walk in, oh, my hand hurts. All right, here's 750 milligrams of Vicodin.
Oh, those like urgent care places.
No, not urgent care. They're literally called pain clinics. So you go in there and you say you're in pain, and they leave you with a bunch of dope.
Oh, I didn't know those existed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What type of dope? Just Vicodin and stuff?
Oh, might be Vicodin.
Prescription drugs.
Might be Percocet. Yeah, it's prescription drugs. But yeah, they're places to go to get painkillers for addicts, pretty much. But
So is he a doctor?
No,
Like a MD?
no, he was a CEO.
Wait, so he has an MBA.
Ethical.
He probably has an MBA then, and he's running these pain clinics because he knows what pain is.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, these things are all over Florida, dude. And you know, you walk in and you say you're in pain, and they leave you with some fucking high octane pain drugs that you probably shouldn't have. You know.
Does Michigan have those? I didn't know that those even existed.
Yeah, we do. It's called marijuana. Marijuana card.
Medical marijuana
Yeah, it's
dispensaries.
Well, the difference is nobody smokes a joint and passes out in their front seat with their kid in the car in the 95-degree heat and kills you and the kid. You know, like.
Oh yeah.
People snort or shoot some Percocet and fucking pass out. And,
yeah, I can see that being a problem. There's a marijuana dispensary right off the highway exit right here by where I live, and in all of
that's convenient.
In all of Ypsilanti, they had the best Christmas decorations of the entire city. I swear to God, they were lit up like fucking crazy. You could see them off the highway when you're driving by. You're like, what is that glow over there? You know, and you pull off the highway and there's just lights galore. It was pretty cool. And it used to be an old gas station that they converted into this medical.
It's a gas station.
Yeah, it was. It used to be a gas station, and it looks real nice. They actually cleaned it up, and they replaced all the tore up concrete from it being, jacked up for years and years, and they've done a good job at revitalizing that piece of property. So,
medical marijuana improving your community.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm all for it. It's a small business. It's they probably generate enough profit to pay their employees well and live a good life. And I have nothing. No animosity towards that.
I don't understand why Republicans aren't behind this 100%. Like, it's a brand new industry, something that they can take advantage of. I don't understand why they aren't pouring money into this, giving tax breaks to these corporations that can build, like the hydroponic outfits, the lighting outfits, the sheds, the greenhouses.
The amount of chemicals are used.
Yeah, all that stuff, man. Republicans should be all over this, man.
I know, dude.
Brand new industry.
That's a good point. DTE here in Michigan, they're our energy company. They just announced that cities that switch to LEDs are going to be charged a higher rate than if they stayed on the old gas lights that they used to have for street lamps.
Wow.
And so they're actually going to charge, even though it takes less energy to energize these LEDs, they're going to charge them. They're going to charge them 10% more than they charge them for the old-fashioned iridescent gas lights, right? And Ypsilanti, our city, we just went through and we changed every single street lamp over to these LEDs, thinking that it was going to cost us, or we were going to save about $500,000 a year. And now they're saying, nope, sorry, we're going to charge you more. That way you keep paying us, so essentially it's a net loss for us. It cost us money to put this in, but we thought we'd recuperate it over a few years, and now they're saying, sorry, we can't. And
gee, who thought privatizing electricity was going to be a terrible idea?
So when you mentioned Republicans, being really supportive of these new businesses. I was thinking, and then I think Ray said about hydroponic lamps and things like this. You know, the more medical marijuana dispensaries we have, the more places that grow marijuana, they're going to be buying these lamps. And these lamps, I bet, generate a lot of electricity, don't they?
I'm sure, yeah.
They probably drain a lot of
any
it.
grow lamp
What,
is.
what DTE really should do is encourage people to start growing their own marijuana, so they have their own these own lamps, and everyone's energy bills start skyrocketing.
Yeah.
That'd be a good way for DTE to recoup their losses when cities switch to LEDs.
I mean, I think the big scare is something that lower and middle class people can start up, and that the higher up corporations don't have complete control over.
Oh, I know. You're right.
I mean, if it does get to the point where you can get Marlboro Red marijuanas in a pack at the gas station, then the Republicans have won. But in the meantime, it's like this lower middle class startup, small business thing. Any one of us, with just a few $1,000s could get a license and grow, 10, 12 plants and start selling.
Yeah.
My question is will the FDA get involved with the consumption of marijuana?
Well, they already have. It's already a class 2 or 3 drug, and so they've already ruled it illegal, and then the DEA goes out and enforces that law.
But they've
we're
also
still able to
agreed
sell it as a medical.
But they've also agreed not to interfere with state law now.
Yeah, but that's only because Obama is in office and he's ordered them not to interfere. If we had a Republican, the Republican wouldn't give that kind of order. There's and this is a political strategy I am surprised the Democratic Party is not completely embracing. Whenever there is a medical marijuana, any kind of marijuana bill, ballot proposal, Democrats and liberals flock to the polls like crazy, and they vote overwhelmingly for this. And while they're there, they also vote for the Democrats that are running for office. I don't know why Democrats don't, in every single state that is banning medical marijuana, pay for a petition drive to get medical marijuana or even recreational marijuana on the ballot. When they do that, Democrats like crazy will flood the ballot boxes, and liberals like crazy will flood the ballot boxes and vote Democrats on top of voting for, and then we'll have an overwhelmingly liberal majority in the United States finally.
Well, it's probably because they're also taking money from the pharmaceutical industry, who doesn't want medical marijuana to be legal. So they're scared. They're scared to go that way and to lose their pharmaceutical funding. Yeah,
I can see that, but I see that at the national level. I'm surprised, the state of Michigan, the politicians here in Michigan aren't getting kickbacks from the pharmaceutical companies because they don't.
Do they get money from the Democratic Party?
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
And where does the Democratic Party get their money? Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, you think politics is localized, but I mean, my God, when you have national debates happening, talking about in Texas whether or not to exclude, Christianity from, the founding fathers and bullshit, there's nothing that's local anymore, really.
That's true. I did donate money to, when they were trying to repeal, not repeal, oh God, why can't I? Not impeach, but vote out of office Scott Walker. I donated money to his opponent's campaign, and I don't even live in Wisconsin, so.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Well, you can't write that one off.
No. Well, yeah, I could. I went to the Democratic Party, who, and you can. Well, no, maybe you can't claim political contributions to taxes.
Wisconsin, though, right?
You should be
I
able
don't.
to.
I don't do my taxes. Rachel does my taxes, so I don't know if you can claim it or not.
That's a good question. You probably can.
You should. I know Republicans would love that, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
All right. Here's a pretty good. It's sort of back to the whole the internet stuff with the FCC. Also, last week, FCC announced that state laws cannot interfere with cities who want to create a become internet service providers. So, if a city wants to establish a citywide internet, or not a citywide internet, but a citywide access to the internet, the state can't interfere with it, even though there's like 15 states that have laws banning municipalities from building their own network. And this is kind of a good thing because what's happening is Google has decided that what they want to do, and it's a little bit different than what this story talks about, but Google, they want to introduce super fast internet to cities across the country, but they're not really willing to invest the money into doing it. So what they're trying to convince cities to do is do it themselves, and then they'll take it over for the city pretty much for free. Like they won't.
Well, the problem is a lot of the telephone lines and whatnot are already leased out to Comcast and these other fucking crooks.
Yeah.
And so they don't really have the infrastructure to build this, even if they wanted to. I mean, it's fucking Google. You know,
Yeah.
they have the money to do whatever the hell they want.
I would argue that it's good that we do this because then you're opening more competition, I suppose. You're building a framework that the city is now holding. They're able to create a structure for, I don't know, free Wi-Fi like Ypsilanti, and then say Google runs the connection aspect of it. That I'm not really for because it's more of like a monopoly unless Comcast gets involved again, and then
Well, I mean, Comcast would still exist, and all these other companies would still exist. The difference is that Google would be running a city's internet, or city's not internet, access to the internet. So the city would lay all the wires down, and they'd lay all the cables, and put up the telephone poles and the boxes, and connect all the houses, that sign up for it. But then,
it's capitalism and competition at its finest.
And then the problem is that Republicans don't like is that it's a government entity competing with a private corporation. That's what they don't like.
Mm.
But Google has said, go ahead and build it, and then we'll run it for you, and we'll even pay the city to run it for you. Instead of you paying us to run it for you, we'll pay you to let us run it for you. And you're not going to find too many cities that say no, we're not going to do that.
And they'll mine all our data.
They make a lot more money in data mining.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Oh yeah. That's their whole point is for the data mining aspect of it. But I mean that.
That's fine.
Comcast could do that. Comcast. There's no reason why Comcast can't do that.
Comcast is already doing it.
Well, they're data mining, but they're not contracting with cities.
No.
To let the city build a really fast internet, They're saying we already laid our wires 20 years ago. We're not going to improve our wires, from 20 years ago.
Here's my message to Google. If you give me a terabyte of fucking data, and I can download some Oscar-winning movie that's not in theater yet in 90 seconds, you can find out what my fucking favorite restaurants are. Fucking eat. What kind of car I drive. You can have that fucking information. Thank you, Google. You can have my fucking personal data on a silver plate. I appreciate you. You appreciate me. It's a good relationship.
So what about your social security number? Would you give them that?
You know what? Google has so much of my fucking information already. Do they have my social? I don't think I've ever put my social on Google. I don't know. But
do you have Google Wallet?
I don't have Google Wallet, but
see, I have Google Wallet, and you have to put because it's a banking service, you have to put your social security number in there. And so Google
Man,
has
you're
mine.
crazy.
No,
Crazy,
it's
man.
Google. It's no different than if I went to Bank of America. You know, it's
It's
a big-
different because it's probably more secure.
Hopefully you have LifeLock.
No, LifeLock's worse. That idiot, he put his social security number up on those fucking bands, and he's had his identity stolen like 8 or 9 times.
Yeah, not like 16 or 20.
You know, I mean, no, I trust Google, and it's not that, and I trust them because they haven't given me a reason not to trust them so far. You know, and like Gary said, if they provide me with a service that I really, really like and enjoy, I'm more likely to trust them even more. You know, with more information. And
Such as this fucking podcast.
yeah, yeah. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. I mean, this is a service you can't do on Skype. So,
Without paying. You pay.
yeah, without paying. Yeah. Well,
There's an old saying.
I don't
well,
think you
there's
can
an old
record
saying.
on Skype though. You can't record on Skype, and that's the difference. Is on this you can record, on Skype you can't record. So
And post automatically to
They
YouTube.
say,
right.
they say if you're not paying for if you're not paying for a product, you are the product.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, why does a farmer feed the pig for free? Because the pig's the product, right? We're just a bunch of little piggies.
I'd rather be Google's piggy than Comcast's piggy, though.
Oh yeah, so would I. Their customer service is way better. There was something else I was going to mention too. Oh, Gary, do you have does the university that you go to, who runs their email service?
Google.
Google. Do you know you get 5 terabytes of Google Drive space?
Really?
Yeah. So you have to go through your school email account to get it. So not just your Gary Z White at Gmail, but whatever your school email is.
Yeah.
Go to the drive. You get 5 terabytes of space.
Huh. That's pretty
So-
awesome to know.
So you can store stuff. Yeah, but as soon as the school kicks you out of their service, you don't get that space anymore. So you'd have to download it.
I was going to go on a Zach Jones plan and just never leave school.
Or you could take I don't know, let's see, $500 of your school student aid and buy a 5 terabytes of actual external hard drive space, and no one can tap into that.
That is true. You could do that. You'd have to carry that around everywhere you go, though, dude. Yeah.
You just put it on your desk, plug it in, no one can tap into it. No
I like
data
it
mining.
because Google Drive it's very similar to like Dropbox. No matter where I go, I have access to it. No matter what computer I sit at, I have access to it. So
You both make valid
Just use
points.
a thumb drive.
thumb drive. This summer, I am going to China for 3 weeks. So
Are you going to buy some jeans?
some Coach purses is what I was going to buy.
My cousin goes there a lot, and he says that a lot of Americans that go there don't come back. What they like to do is they like to open up like restaurants that are, ironic like American restaurants,
Like American
And then they make
cuisine over in China.
and they make a shit ton of money in China because everybody wants American everything.
Well, I plan on coming back because my wife will not be going with me. So
Oh, too bad.
I don't know, you might find a 16-year-old wife while you're there, too.
Yeah, concubine.
a side wife.
Open up your own President Obama fried chicken restaurant.
All right.
That's a real thing, by the way. I'm not just being.
Oh, I
racist,
totally believe it.
I saw that on the net. Like, it was KFC, but it was Obama for the fucking
Oh, gosh.
Sanders. Oh, China. Copyright
No.
laws don't exist. They really do not give a fuck about copyright
No,
laws.
they
over
don't.
there.
Well, I guess since we're kind of on a Google night, somebody posted this on Wunderlist. Google's Waze is a stalking app claims U.S. police. I did not post this. Who posted this? Do you guys know?
Mm-mm.
I haven't posted in a long time, guys.
Oh. It
Anything
might have
that-
been. I might have been Wally. I saw him post a
Let's
lot of
see here.
stuff this week. So Google Waze, I guess, it's an app that lets you know.
It's a travel app, just like
Is it? I'm trying to read the article
it's,
right now.
yeah, it's a navigator. It's actually a cool one because unlike when you just do your normal navigation, it tells you where the cops are at, where the construction's at, and all that shit. It's kind of like a social.
So again, kind of like a fuzzbuster.
Well, it's kind of like social media / navigation because it relies on users to tell you where the police are at, where the construction's at, where the heavy traffic is at. So other users are the ones contributing the data.
That's funny.
All right.
They do that. They're doing that on that type of thing on Yik Yak now. People are posting where the cops are
Oh, okay.
in their area.
It's good to
But
know.
I think though with Yik Yak, it's just a verbal description of where the cops are.
Right.
Like there's not like a map that's associated with it that you can pin or wayfind a geotag where a cop actually is.
Yeah, Waze actually alerts you when the cop's coming up.
Oh, that's pretty cool. But the
Crazy.
cops are saying that this is like a stalker app that allows people to stalk. So, are they referring to stalking cops, or are they referring to stalking?
Well, it doesn't really like give a cop's like name and dick size or anything, so I'm not really sure. Or like it just says there's police ahead, there's construction ahead, sort of thing. I don't know. I'm sure they're pissed off about it. They're probably like not getting all the tickets that they want to give out, but
Yeah.
Guess who's downloading it right now?
God.
I mean,
Dude,
it's cool. It works just like regular Google navigation or whatever, but it's has more features. I mean, it's worth having.
did you, Gary? I know you liked the TV show Newsroom.
Yeah.
Do you remember the episode where Olivia Munn rips into that the new tech hire that they hired, who created pretty much the stalker app that lets everyone know where celebrities are at any given moment?
Yeah, I vaguely kind of remember that. I did watch that. I watched that whole series.
All right. Well, when I saw the title of this this article, I initially thought of that. I'm like, oh, this is a stalker app, so we can find like where our ex-wives are or our ex. Or, I didn't realize it was kind of just for police. But I can see how police would be upset by this because they don't want everyone to know where they're at. But then again, there's also there's tons of apps that you can download that are police scanner apps. You know, and it's really cool. And like, I can pick any city in the world and listen to the police scanners in that city.
Yep.
You know, and
during the riots of Ferguson, I used the police app for that, and then I used Fire Chat to watch the chat of the
I bet you that was
protesters.
fun.
What's Fire
And
Chat?
then I watched it on on TV. It was great. It was fun.
What's Fire Chat?
Fire Chat is it's like a chat room app where it works off of Bluetooth and cell phone towers. So if the cell phone tower goes down, say like the government shuts it down like they did in Hong Kong, then what it does is it piggybacks off of everybody's Bluetooths until it reaches its destination.
Oh my God, that's a really cool idea.
You know, it's funny, Ray, because we're talking about, the kids I work with, their privacy is like, pretty paramount considering who I work with, and you were telling me about Fire Chat where they can connect Bluetooth and like send like messages and photos and shit, and So they had these like student tablets, and they're like, okay, can we keep these secure? Blah blah blah. I'm like, oh no, we can shut off the internet. These motherfuckers connect Bluetooth
Yeah,
and
for
send
sure.
dick pics to each
There's
other.
no
You
way.
know?
There's
Yeah.
no way. Not
Why
anymore.
would they send dick pics to each other? Aren't they a bunch of boys?
No, I work with boys and girls, but
Oh, okay.
but actually, I would say about 75% of the kids I work with are bisexual or gay for the stay or whatever. Like all the guys have like girlfriends, but they still like if they can sneak out and fuck some dude on the unit, they'll do that too.
Brave new world.
Yeah, that is a lot different than when I remember being a kid.
Well, I don't think you ever were in a mental health treatment facility, if I remember correctly.
That is correct. I have not
So,
been.
it's a little different, you know.
Yeah. Okay, let's see what else we have on. Oh, did you guys see? That's not that big of news. There was these people who have been protesting the Supreme Court recently, and they're called 99 Rise, R-I-S-E. And
So they spelled it right.
yeah, they spelled it right, which is
That's
amazing.
good. I like it so far.
But they've been going into the Supreme Court into chambers when they've been having the trials, if you will. I think that's what they're called when they get to the Supreme Court, the trial.
It's a good word.
The hearings. Anyways, they've been secretly videotaping it, and it's illegal to videotape inside the Supreme Court chambers. They confiscate all your cell phones, cameras, any electronic device you have. You can't even bring in a recorder.
How do they do it?
I don't know. They like sew it into stuff, and it doesn't get noticed or something like that.
Their vaginas.
Yeah, probably. But over the past 2 or 3 months, they've gotten quite a few things in, and they've been recording a lot of the stuff going on in there, which isn't that big of a deal because the court they're fairly transparent. They just don't allow video recording or camera recording. Because they have a court reporter who types every single word and then releases it the very next day. So it's not like it's censored or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But this group 99 Rise last week, they all sat in different sections. And one at a time, they were standing up and screaming, take money out of politics, money is not a vote. They were really protesting the 5-year anniversary of Citizens United.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty big deal because as all the cops were swarming one person, another person would stand up and start screaming all the way on the other side of the room. And they coordinated it, and they actually must have rehearsed it because all these people were doing it right when all the cops were around one person, and then it was hard for the cops to get around everyone to get to the other people. And one guy in the back who did not stand up, he was videotaping it all, and so he was there to sort of record it.
Is that shit on YouTube or what?
Yeah, it's on YouTube, and you can go to 99rise.org and actually see, and they posted the video of it. It's pretty interesting, and their message is pretty much the message of Occupy.
God blesses you, Zach. The state blesses you, Zach.
The government. I prefer science or the spaghetti monster to bless me, but.
Thank you, Satan.
But yeah, and so, and initially, just prior to these protests and these little outbursts in the court, the court was considering allowing television cameras into the courtroom, and it would have been the first time they allowed it. And then as soon as this happened, they decided, oh fuck no, these people are crazy. We're not giving in to these people. We're not going to capitulate to them. And even the liberal judges voted no against that. So it was like a 9-0 decision about allowing cameras into the courtroom. So I don't know.
I mean, the more we get into new technologies, the less the more harder it's going to be to control that from being in situations like you said, Gary, like trying to avoid your kids from doing certain things on their iPads. There's no way of controlling that. There's always some app out there that'll do it for you.
You already have Google Glass. Like, you're gonna take somebody's glasses. They can't fucking see without them. You know?
Yeah, and eventually wearable technology will be so embedded. I mean, you'll be able to get a shirt from your doctor. He'll prescribe you a T-shirt, and the T-shirt will report back to the doctor your sweat, your pulse, your heart rate, all this shit, and eventually it's going to be used for more than just. It'll be for fashion. Like, I don't know. Do you guys ever remember watching WALL-E where they changed their shirt color because red was the new blue or something like that?
Yeah.
And we're going to have technology like that is so
transhumanism, they call it.
Yeah, it's so ingrained into our culture that we begin to not even notice it. We don't realize that there is an actual piece of technology helping us do something or whatnot. I'm all for it. I welcome our robot overlords. So.
Not me. I'll stay on the planet. No, I'll stay on the planet. You guys can go to Mars if you want to.
You're gonna be just a meat pocket for one of the alien robot overlords, right? So.
That's fine.
I work with some meat pockets, and some are happy, some aren't satisfied. But it's kind of like everybody else.
I imagine to be a robot pocket or whatever, you're gonna have to spend a lot of money.
Oh, you mean to become like a cyborg?
Well, all that technology costs some money, but it's gonna be a financer's dream,
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me wonder. I mean, the
cell phone.
The economy's changed a lot over the days, but like my grandpa was able to work like a basic job and take care of 5 kids and a wife. Are people not able to do that today just because the economy has gone down, or because we need more stuff?
Well, what is that term they say? That there's a push to get people to use things, not people, instead of right now where we're at, where we use people and things or something like that. I'm ruining it. But
I have no clue.
Basically, what I'm saying is our society values stuff over.
Well, let me put it another way. I was at a laundromat when I was in college, and I had this. I'm a poor college kid living in a concrete teepee. I'm a hippie motherfucker. But I'm driving this 1995 white Lincoln, right? And it leans to the side because one of the air shocks is broken. And I don't have money to fix it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What type of Lincoln?
It was a 1995 Lincoln.
Oh, 95. I had an 87.
Yeah, Ray, I remember yours. One of your air shocks were broken too, and it always drove like this. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, so I'm doing my laundry. This hippie lady, she's quite much older than me. We start talking. She's like, "Is that your Lincoln out there?" And like, "Yeah." She's like, "Your air shock's broken." Like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I can't afford to fix." She's like, "Well, my husband's a mechanic. He can probably wire something up for you pretty cheap, $200-300. I'm like, "Okay, let's talk," because normally that's like a $2,500 job on a Lincoln.
Yeah.
And so I started talking to these people, and basically between him being a mechanic, she worked part-time at a school. Mm-hmm. They lived out in the woods. They relied mostly on solar, wind energy, whatever they had. Grew a lot of their own food. They had it broken down where they could live off $5,000 a year.
Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's awesome.
But can they do it and be comfortable, truly comfortable though? Like, you know, like they're warm,
Zach,
they're air conditioned
Zach,
in the summertime.
yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
can they do it and
Well, this is the Upper Peninsula, Michigan.
and have a
You don't have to
good
worry about
quality of life?
you don't have to worry about air conditioning in the summer. They probably had wood heat, which is, if you have a good wood stove, is fine in the winter in Michigan. I mean, they live in the woods. There's plenty of wood. But they had it broken down where with their car insurance, their house insurance, and their basic necessities, they could live off $5,000 a year. They seem like happy people. I don't know. I paid them to
Zach,
fix my car, and I never really talked to them again.
you know, Zach, my creative director at Cliff Keen,
Yeah.
he had a wood generator. You could just cut down wood, and then it would turn the heat would turn turbines inside that would then create electricity for the entire house. But as long as he put in, like, you know, slow burning logs of wood into the furnace before he left for work, you know, he'd have that power. If not, you
Yeah,
know.
but so he comes home, and you know, this was a problem that John Steinbeck had, the guy who wrote Grapes of Wrath. You know, he originally started writing when he got out of school and whatnot, and he's like, oh, my writing is not close enough to the earth. I don't understand the common man well enough, because he was fairly affluent before he started writing these books from his family. And so he went and started digging ditches, right? And he spent a good, like, 2 or 3 years digging ditches, and he ended up quitting because he said, at the end of the day, I don't have time to actually come home and write. I am so sore. I'm so tired. I'm tired of working and tired of living, even though it's paying me a decent amount of money to survive. I just don't have time to do things like be creative and think about things and write and use my mind. And what I end up doing is I spend my whole days just trying to survive. And I wonder, is that what life is really about? Is just trying to survive, or should we be aspiring to something better, like trying to make things and be creative and design things that make the world a better place? Or do we really just want to pay the bills and be left alone out in the woods?
Well, I mean, I think you're assuming that these people just pay the bills and stay and live out in the woods. You're assuming that they don't entertain themselves and enjoy company and have friends. I mean,
yeah, but there's that, but I mean, I have friends, and just the nature of having friends doesn't necessarily make the world a better place. It makes my friend have a better life and me have a better life because I'm so awesome. But you know, for in general, the world could do without a Zach Jones unless I write a piece of paper that changes the way we think about geography or the way we think about maps or the way we practice a certain technique, you know. And I don't know, I just think that there's more to life than just surviving.
Well, I mean, that's the human condition, though. That's what everybody's trying to strive to do. You know, what is my life about? Why am I living my life this way? Whatever. Everybody's got their own way of living, man. You know,
Well,
Zach, you want to transcend into a better world? Then do it, man.
Well,
It's your life, man.
I'm trying to get there. And, you know, Ray, you live a creative lifestyle, and Gary lives a lifestyle where he mentors youth, and he's going to college to eventually be better at even mentoring youth and whatnot. And, you know, we're doing things that actually improve the world.
But, you know, I can agree upon Steinbeck there. I work as a busser at a restaurant, man. I'm essentially digging ditches. I come home and I fucking hate my life. I fucking hate it.
Well, you hate
I
your
fucking hate
job. You don't
I hate
necessarily.
my job. Well, it transcends because you know that thing where people have a tendency to define themselves by what they do for a living, and it's true. I have a hard time leading into my creative endeavors, and you know, for that I'm working on it. But yeah, I can agree. Like, you know, you get to a point in your life and you start looking back and like, what am I doing all this for?
Yeah.
Can I do it better?
Well, I just worry at the end of my life, I'll look back and be like, well, all I did was make someone else money. You know?
No, you learned a lot though. That
No,
you
no.
are about learning.
You're right, and I'm forcing my life to go that way, but I worry that eventually maybe I'll just end up taking a job for the man, you know, some developer, and all I did was provide that employer with more money, and I really haven't made anything better in this world. And so what part of the reason, you know, and I look at, you know, Gary originally asked about his grandpa and how his grandpa was able to survive and provide for his family and live a good life. And you know, I think what a good life is very subjective, and what I worry about is that, yeah, we probably can do that, but I worry that we're trapped into doing that, and that we're not able to actually, like you said, transcend into another realm where we actually are doing good and we improve humanity instead of just survive.
Well, I mean, you can look at it this way. We're reporting the news every week, or some of us are, and we're telling people, we're telling random people that we've never met, if they watch us, that what we think about the news.
Yeah.
Right? So these are all archived shows that you could theoretically say, since they're on the internet, that somebody's going to look at some other time. So maybe you're helping them out, you know? Maybe
helping our robot overlords become more human in the future.
Or helping our fellow man beat the robot overlords.
Yeah. All right, that's a good thought, Ray. That's a nice, warm, fuzzy feeling to maybe end the show on. GW, you've been quiet for the past few minutes. You got some last words?
I have. John Lennon once said, "Time enjoyed is not time wasted." So don't waste your time, motherfuckers.
All right. Ray, some last words for us tonight?
I learned today, and it sounds simple, but avoiding something may lead to instant gratification in the sense that you don't have to do it. But in all honesty, it leads ultimately to worsening situations. So the trick in life is to not avoid things, to get things done. That's all I'm going to say.
So true, Ray. So true. All right, gentlemen. I think we've wasted a perfectly good hour of everyone's life, and I thank you for that. And I look forward to talking with both of you next week. Are we good for next week?
I'm in.
Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I'm in
So
too.
am I. And I will keep everyone updated on my China trip and how I'm preparing for it. What I'll be doing over there is actually
Begging
preparing.
China
Preparing Chinese students for grad school in America. So. that'll be
Okay.
interesting. Yeah. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
You have a great week, and we'll catch up again next Wednesday.
Okay.
Right on.
All right. See ya.
Bye.